Hey guys, this is my vast 1960s to 1980s Neckerchief slides or scarf slides or Neal slides from the Boy Scouts. So this is how I bought it at an estate sale. So it came in this display that was put together, and it seems like this might have been from a father and son kind of collaboration because some of them are from the 60s, some of them are from the 80s. But it came like this with a broken glass, and I peeled back the tape that was holding the glass on, and I've actually already sold a couple of these. I'll show you either pictures. I did record one that I sold yesterday before I sold it. So I'll just kind of show them all to you. I'm not going to get in a lot of detail. This might be one of the videos where some of the viewers might know more than me about this stuff. So I'll show you a little bit. So I just sold this one. This one, it's made from an animal bone. Looks like a rib bone where you can see how you can see the bone structure here. And this one is from the 60s. You can kind of tell from the cloth material and the beadwork, and you can tell that this is not from the 80s. And the reason why I know some are from the 80s, some are from the 60s, because I've dated and I've researched some of these. So this one is from the mid 60s. This has beads. I'm not sure if they're Native American beads or if they're more modern beads, but they're definitely at least from the 60s, so at least 60 years old. But this one was pretty cool. And I'll show you some more. I'll just start going from left to right, I guess. So here is a diamond jubilee. So the 75th anniversary of the Boy Scouts. So I think this is 1985. I'll put it on the screen if I'm wrong. And here's another one, 1985. So this is, you can see here, the 75th anniversary, 1985. This one I think is made, it's heavy. It's definitely not silver, but it's probably steel. But it is heavy. So you can see National Scouts Jamboree, 1910 to 1985, the spirit lives on. And some of these might still be, okay. Some of them still kind of might be clipped in. I've lifted this up and removed most of them. So here is Follow the Rugged Road, Boy Scouts of America. This is probably from the 80s. And Scoutorama, probably from the 80s. Trail Hiker, this one is a Neal slide, and you'll see what a Neal slide is. It says Neal slide on it. But this one is probably from the 60s, but this one has a broken Neal slide piece. Here's a large arrowhead, and I have some details. I'll put the details on the screen because I don't have them in front of me, but I've done a lot of research. And here's where you can see Neal slide. So you can see it's printed right on there, Neal slide, and that's a registered name brand. And you can see this is like an enamel. This is from the 60s. And I did extensive research when I first bought these, which was about a month ago. Just now getting around to making a video. But I did extensive research when I first got these, and I'll put some of the information on the screen because I buy a lot of stuff. My mind tends to kind of overlap what I've learned. So here is a Idaho Farragut State Park, 1969, the 7th National Jamboree. I cannot find much at all about the Farragut State Park 7th National Jamboree in Idaho in 1969. I cannot find a lot. I mean, it almost seems like it doesn't exist, but we know it did because there's a couple of slides from that time period. And you can see this is a Neal slide. And these were made for the Boy Scouts for events at these state parks. So there might not have been a lot of participants or a lot of people that showed up, or this might have been a small meeting that not a lot of people went to, like a real exclusive one. Not that it was limited probably, but that just not a lot of people went. So the attendance probably pretty low. So that one's rare. And here's a cool little owl. And this is a Neal slide. You'll see a lot of these are Neal slides. And you can see the enamel kind of finish. And these, I believe, were either painted by the Boy Scouts themselves or painted by a factory. But I think a lot of these are painted by the Boy Scouts. So some of these would have came uncolored. But you can see this one's pretty cool. And I think this one's from the 60s, so probably 69, around that time. And here is like a Native American. There's no marking on here, but Native American style leather uh, kind of scarf slide. This one's kind of cool, but I can't find much about it. But I can definitely tell it's from the 60s and not the 80s. And all of these are on eBay if you're interested. Like I said, I've already sold 3 of them. And here's one. I cannot find this one at all on the internet. Our Soil, Our Strength. And I believe this one is probably Ohio. It might be Ohio or it might be Idaho. But it's kind of really hard to tell. But you can see the city. So I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think this is Idaho. But I don't know. I mean, Idaho, yeah. I don't think that's Idaho. I don't. I really don't know. It's kind of hard to find that. I cannot find this image at all on the internet. Let me see. This one's a Neal slide too. And that's why I said if anybody watching these videos knows about this or is willing to do the research a little bit more than I did, please comment because it does help. And here's another one from the 7th National Jamboree in Idaho, 1969, in the Farragut State Park. So this is another rare one that I cannot find. I cannot find any of these that's sold or any of these that's listed. The 7th Jamboree, I cannot find any, like not one thing, not one mention of it. So it's really, really kind of hard to find any information. So I'm just going on what I found. Here's a cool little squirrel one. And these are old, so some of these have dust on them and cobwebs, whatever. Cool little squirrel one. My wife loved this one because we rescue squirrels. We don't ever show them off because you know how Karens could be, you know how people could be, but we've rescued several squirrels. They seem to fall out of the trees and we rehabilitate them. So we handle squirrels with our bare hands until they get a certain size. And you don't have to worry about squirrels biting you. It's their claws that's sharp. So they can hurt you without meaning to, but they do become like pets, like almost like a cat or kind of like a rat. Because we call them tree rats. But this is a Neal slide, and this one's probably from the 69, around that time too. And at this estate sale, they had the Paul Bunyan ones, but those went fast. I actually saw them and I was going to grab them, but I was more focused on this because I like the arrangement. I'd rather spend my money on a large assortment than just a couple. Because I think they wanted like 20 or 30 each. So for the 2, it would have been 40 or 60. I can't remember. Here's a cool campfire one. This one might still be stuck. It is. Free it up. Oh. And this one is a Neal slide as well. And it's a little campfire. This one's probably from the 60s. A lot of these Neal slides with this kind of enamel, these are probably all from mid to late 60s. And here's the 3-finger salute, which I actually had to look it up, but that is am I doing it right? But that is I'll put it on the screen, but it's 3 different meanings of the Boy Scouts. So I'll put it on the screen for those who don't know. For those who do know, you are going to be screaming at the screen. And these 3 all seem to came from the same place, Miami Valley, but it's not Miami, Florida. Let's see if this one actually shows it, but it's a little grasshopper with like a Daniel Boone kind of dressed grasshopper. This one is not a Neal slide, so this one is probably homemade, I guess you would say. That one's kind of cool. It's made out of soft wood too, but it's the Miami Valley Council, Dayton, Ohio. And that's why I thought this one might be from Ohio, because Ohio you would expect farms and cities. I wouldn't in Idaho. You can see Boy Scouts of America, and I've already read this out, but you can see I guess Daniel Boone kind of dressed grasshopper with a rifle. This one looks like it might have been. No, I was thinking this might have been a Neal slide, but it probably wasn't. This looks like it was homemade as well. And this one too. This one, yeah, I don't think any of these were Neal slides, so these are probably homemade. And this is made out of a softer wood as well. But you can see this one's a larger one with a nice kind of detailed rifle. And you can see I guess that would be like a gunpowder bag. Some of them used horns, like a powder horn. So like a powder bag or powder horn. and those came from Cricket Holler. So and this one says Cricket Holler. So Cricket Holler, I think, was the meeting, or it was the area, or the state park. I'll put some information on the screen for this particular meeting. And here's a couple of copper ones. You can see this one says, "Onward for God and my country." Here's another one just like it, and it has a Statue of Liberty. And it says, and let me get my eyepiece because this is pretty small. But strength, well, it says strengthen the arm of liberty. That's what it says here. So no, that's not the three-finger salute. This one says strengthen the arm of liberty. Sorry, my phone dropped to 20% and that message came on. That takes up the whole screen. Hate that. All right, here is an American eagle. And this is a Neal slide. And you can tell this one's been painted. So I think this is one that came unpainted and the Boy Scouts would paint it. And here's another one. It doesn't have much on it. It just has the fleur-de-lis and the American eagle. And here's one. This one is copper. It's heavy. 67, and there's some more Philmont. So yeah, I think this is part of the Philmont. I'll show you what I'm talking about. So here is a Philmont, a New Mexico arrowhead. This one's copper too, but that is a turquoise stone. If you don't know much about stones, which I'll admit I don't know a whole lot, but this is a turquoise stone, and it's kind of hard to weigh this turquoise stone, but just in the turquoise stone alone, that's probably about $40 to $50. So that's probably a $40, $50 rock, and then this is probably like a $20 kind of Neal slide or Neckerchief slide. I have this one on eBay for $65, but that's pretty cool. So if you're looking for natural turquoise, there's one right here. So some people that's not even interested in these might be interested in that turquoise stone. Here's an arrowhead, and I'm not sure what region it came from, but I'm thinking it came from New Mexico. So it's really hard to tell, but these kind of arrowheads were used for 14,000 years, I think. I've heard if you go panning in some rivers, you'll just pull them up. I've always wanted to do that. So here's a New Mexico one, and this is the Philmont 2, I believe. And here's a camp staff. Oh, I think it's just camp staff, so I guess maybe one of the staff members would wear this. It's a Neal slide. And so here's more of the Philmont ones I'll show you. So here's a donkey, Philmont. And that I think that's like a forward slash. I'll put it on the screen, but you can see this is the third. Let's see, but I'll show the backside real quick. And here's another Philmont, but you know the Philmont has these kind of symbols on them, so you can tell me what you think it means, or if you know what it means in the comments. It's been about a month since I researched these, and I read so much, I research so much, I buy so much, my brain can only fit so much. And here's another Philmont. This one has a tree cut out with a buffalo or a bison. And here is like an Aztec calendar, kind of. It doesn't have anything written on it, but it might be related to this one. This is the Kosher Indians, La Junta, Colorado. And here is another Native American eagle Neal slide. And here's a cool little Indian head. That's kind of cool. You can tell this is handmade. This is not a Neal slide. I thought that was awesome. And here's a little rope. I forgot what knot that's called, but I'll put it on the screen. Or you can tell me what it is. I looked it up and I know, but like I said, I can't remember everything. This is a Neal slide as well. And there's a couple of Liberty bills. That's not really important. Those are probably the cheapest kind. And now I'll show you what I sold already. And here's a couple of acorns I think I missed, but nothing important. This is a Neal slide, little acorns. All right, I'll show the couple that I've already sold so you can see those. Thanks for watching.